Now, let me ask you a quick question. I want to know the Epstein Island allegations. Were you two on Epstein Island? That way you're also fucked up, cockamamie in the brain?
No, that's obviously not. They were trying to say that's our dad. Obviously, that's my dad. But those are white little kids, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was you. Yeah, that could be you. It kind of look like
Guys,
you. I'm a real QZ. Listen, my people's born from an island. Yeah, our people's born from an island. Yo estoy right. Yo soy cubano. Yo hablo español de todo. Yo estaba aquí en Florida.
No comprende. America English. No comprende, amigo. Listen, I'm asking you a question. Did you two go on fucking Epstein Island or not, bro?
No, pussy. We just.
So what island? What island did you guys? What island, bro?
Cuba.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Don't talk shit about Cuba neither.
I love Cuba.
It's a communist country. Because Neon did go there.
Wait, what did Neon say?
What started as a wild question on a stream instantly pulled the Island Boys back into one of the strangest corners of internet culture. 1 second, the conversation was jokes, accents, Cuba, and online trolling. The next second, the name Epstein Island entered the room, and suddenly a viral meme duo became part of a much darker conversation. But before anything else, this needs to be clear. There is no verified public evidence proving the Island Boys were ever on Little St. James, and there is no credible reporting proving that any clone story connected to them is real. What does exist is something different. A perfect internet storm. Two young men who became famous overnight. A public image built on chaos. Visible changes in their appearance over time. Legal troubles, online rumors, and a culture that loves turning confusion into conspiracy. The Island Boys are Alex and Frankie Venegas, better known online as Fly Soulja and Kodia Cred. In 2021, they became viral almost overnight because of a poolside freestyle that turned into one of the biggest memes of that year. Their tattoos, hair, grills, and unpredictable attitude made them instantly recognizable. But that same visibility also made them easy targets for jokes, speculation, and conspiracy theories. So the real question is not, were they cloned? The real question is, how did two viral twins go from internet joke to the center of a rumor so dark that people started connecting them to Epstein Island? To understand why these rumors stuck, you have to go back to 2021, before the theories, before the heavier controversies, before the internet turned them into a punchline. Back then, the Island Boys were not industry plants, movie characters, or mysterious figures. They were two young twins from South Florida who figured out how to turn attention into currency. Alex and Frankie Venegas went viral after a short clip of them singing by a pool started spreading across TikTok and Twitter in October 2021. The hook was simple, strange, and impossible to forget. Their look did the rest. Face tattoos, tall vertical hair, grills, and a Florida accent made them stand out in a feed where everyone was fighting for attention. But behind the meme was a rougher backstory. In interviews, the Island Boys' fame was never normal celebrity fame. It was meme fame. And meme fame is dangerous because the audience does not just watch you, it plays with you. One day, people laugh with you. The next day, they laugh at you. And by the third day, they are building entire theories about your life. After the pool video exploded, the twins were everywhere. They appeared on podcasts, got pulled into internet feuds, and became part of the influencer boxing conversation. But the attention came with humiliation. On Logan Paul's Impulsive, they clashed with the hosts after being told to invest their money wisely. The conversation went left, the twins walked out, and that clip became another viral moment. Not long after, people were mocking them at public appearances and treating them like walking memes instead of young men trying to build a career. That is where the timeline gets messy. When someone becomes famous because the internet is laughing, every decision becomes content. If they argue, it is content. If they change their look, it is content. If they disappear for a while, it becomes a mystery. The original video in this script uses that mystery as fuel. It points to gaps, changes, and rumors, then turns them into a dramatic theory. But a gap in posting is not proof of anything. A change in energy is not proof of anything. For viral stars, silence can mean stress, rebranding, burnout, family issues, money problems, or simply trying to survive the pressure of being known by millions for one joke. The original narration tries to connect the Island Boys' public changes to Little St. James, the private island once owned by Jeffrey Epstein. That connection is dramatic, but drama is not evidence. What is confirmed is that Little St. James was part of Epstein's criminal world, and the island became one of the most infamous places in modern celebrity conspiracy culture. What is not confirmed is any credible link between that island and the Island Boys. The confirmed record is serious enough without adding unsupported claims. The U.S. Virgin Islands government brought a civil enforcement action against Epstein's estate, alleging that Epstein used his properties and companies in the territory to carry out and conceal a big part of the conspiracy story focuses on appearance. The tattoos, the hair, the eyes, the posture, the energy. That is where the internet always starts. Because appearance is easy to screenshot and easy to compare. A 2021 image goes next to a later image, and suddenly people act like they are forensic experts. But appearance changes are not evidence of replacement. The Island Boys built their early brand on an extreme look. Face tattoos, vertical dreadlocks, flashy jewelry, and shock value made them recognizable. But once the meme cycle started fading, that same look also became a cage. The thing that made them famous made it harder for people to take them seriously. So, if their look changed over time, that can be understood through rebranding, aging, personal stress, fashion choices, or the simple reality that viral fame does not last forever. The original script tries to make tattoo changes sound suspicious. A stronger version of the story is this. When your entire brand is built on being shocking, eventually you have to decide whether to double down or evolve. Some fans will read evolution as maturity. Haters will read it as desperation. Conspiracy channels will read it as evidence. That is why visuals matter so much in this video. You can show the early Island Boys clip, then show later interviews or social posts. But the narration should not claim the visuals. Another part of the online theory focuses on conflict between the brothers. People look at arguments, live stream tension, public drama, and legal trouble. Then try to turn it into a bigger hidden story. But again, the simpler explanation may be more human and more believable. The Island Boys became famous as twins, which means the public never really allowed them to exist separately. Their brand was not Alex alone or Frankie alone. It was the two of them together. That creates pressure. If one brother wants attention and the other wants control, that becomes content. If one brother is struggling privately, that becomes content. If they fight, the internet does not treat it like family pain. It treats it like a show. There have also been real legal controversies around Frankie Venegas. In 2023, local Florida media reported that he was arrested on a domestic battery charge after deputies said he slapped his girlfriend and pushed her into a pool. In 2025, Fox 5 reported that he faced gun and drug charges after a traffic stop, based on arrest records. Those are real public controversies, and they create a much stronger grounded story than clone theories. The angle here should be this. Viral fame did not protect the Island Boys from real-life consequences. If anything, it amplified everything. The strongest version of this story is not that the Island Boys were replaced. The strongest version is that the internet replaced them first. It took two young men with a complicated background and turned them into characters. Once that happened, people stopped looking at them like real people. Their own documentary. Trolled. The original script tries to connect the Island Boys to a bigger clone protocol involving other celebrities. That type of framing is popular in conspiracy videos because it makes every story feel connected. One rumor becomes a network. One name becomes a pattern. One image comparison becomes evidence. But when you step back, the pattern usually says more about internet culture than about the people being accused. Celebrity conspiracy theories work because audiences already believe the entertainment industry is fake. They see publicists, handlers, contracts, image changes, brand deals, crisis management, and sudden rebrands. Then they ask, what else is being hidden? That suspicion is not random. The industry does control image. The industry does manufacture narratives. But that does not mean every image change is cloning. Every career dip is a sacrifice. By this point in the story, the Island Boys are no longer just the Island Boys. They are a symbol of a bigger internet cycle. First, the internet finds someone unusual. Then, it rewards them for being extreme. Then it punishes them for the same thing it rewarded. Finally, when the person changes, struggles, or disappears from the spotlight, the internet acts shocked. That cycle has happened to rappers, streamers, child stars, reality TV personalities, and meme celebrities. The Island Boys just lived through a very loud version of it. They were young, recognizable, controversial, and easy to clip. Every interview became a test. Every argument became a reaction video. Every rumor became a thumbnail. Once the audience started seeing them as content instead of people, almost anything could be attached to their names. That is why the Epstein Island question in the opening clip lands so hard. It is not because the claim is proven. It is because the internet has trained viewers to expect the most. So what happens next for the Island Boys? The most realistic possibility is not some secret reveal. It is a rebrand. That is usually what happens when viral fame becomes too toxic to carry. The public image that once made someone famous starts blocking them from the next chapter. So they try to change the story. For the Island Boys, a rebrand would make sense.
The second possible move is music. Not because the Island Boys are guaranteed to become respected rappers, but because music is still the reason their fame started. The meme began with a song. The phrase, "I'm an island boy," is what put them on the map. So if they want to shift the conversation away from rumors and scandals, music is the most obvious route. But this time, the challenge would be different. In 2021, they did not need a polished record, they needed a moment. The internet did the rest. Now, if they release new music, the audience will not just be listening to the song. They will be judging the comeback. They will ask whether the track is serious, whether the production is better, whether the image feels forced, and whether the Island Boys can exist beyond the meme that created them. That creates a strong narration angle. A music reboot would be less about charts and more about survival. Can two viral figures turn a joke into a career? Can they make people listen without laughing first? Can they escape a brand that made them famous, but also limited them? If a new project appears with bigger production, stronger visuals, features, interviews, or a cleaner rollout, frame it as a test. Not a conspiracy test, a career test. Because the real pressure is public perception. The Island Boys do not just have to release music. They have to convince the internet that they are more than a viral punchline. And that brings the story back to the opening clip. One question, one accusation, one viral moment. That is all it takes for the internet to turn a messy career into a mystery. But the real ending is not about proving the darkest rumor. The real ending is about understanding why people believed it could be true in the first place. The Island Boys became famous in a world where every image is evidence, every silence is suspicious, and every public change gets treated like a hidden message. They were young, loud, controversial, and instantly recognizable. That made them famous. It also made them vulnerable. The Epstein Island connection should be treated carefully. Epstein's crimes and Little St. James are documented, but no credible public record connects the Island Boys to that island. The clone theory should be treated the same way, as internet speculation, not fact. But the emotional story underneath it is real. The pressure of viral fame is real. The public controversies are real. The rebrand struggle is real. The way the internet turns people into characters is real. So the final question for the audience should not be, were the Island Boys replaced? The stronger question is, did the internet ever let them be real people in the first place? Because sometimes the scariest part of a conspiracy is not the claim itself. It is how quickly millions of people are ready to believe it once someone becomes famous enough to stop looking human.